All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of the Fins Den, right? My name is Ethan Heitner. You might have seen me on Twitter. I'm not going to release what account I run on Twitter. I have two accounts. I have the Fins Den account, and then I have another one that I'm a little more out there on. So I've definitely been in contact or at least talked to a bunch of you guys on Twitter. So pretty much with this channel, what we're going to do is we're going to cover the Dolphins, of course, right? But we're going to give a little bit of a real take on what's going on, right? I see a lot of YouTubers out there who kind of sugarcoat what's going on, and then you have a lot of YouTubers like Doug who do a great job at telling people like, hey, this team is terrible, or also like, maybe we should calm down here, like we might have something. And I really enjoy watching a lot of Doug's videos, and he actually inspired me to make this channel. So we're gonna get into this game. Dolphins fall 31-21 to Buffalo. First thoughts here, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to go in there and get blown out by 40 and just get embarrassed on national television. But it actually ended up being worse than that. So we're going to go over the stats, and I have the stats right here. Of course, we lose 31-21. Tua 22 for 34, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 81.3 passer rating. Achane 12 rush, 62 yards on the ground. Ollie Gordon 9 for 38 with 1 touchdown. Malik Washington 2 for 20. His line on Prize Picks, or whatever you guys use for props, was only like 3 yards. And then Tua had 2 rushes for 10 yards. Going to receiving, Hill 5 for 49 a touchdown. Jalen Waddle 5 for 39 a touchdown. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're really going to talk about this defense here. Dodson and Bradley Chubb got a sack. That's all I have to report. Oh, and we got a couple stops as well. So now let's get into the game itself and what went good and what went really bad for the Miami Dolphins. So what went right for the Miami Dolphins? Now, I'm not a homer. You can look over my shoulder here and say, well, you have a signed Tua jersey behind you, right? It was a gift. I'm always going to support whoever's the quarterback. And never knock the Dolphins for drafting Tua. If you want a video on that, then we can really get into that. But I think Tua played a good game. I'm not saying he played great. I'm not saying like, wow, franchise guy, even though we did pay him franchise money. But I think he stuck to whatever Mike McDaniel's game plan was, which in my opinion was, this is the best pass defense in the NFL, right? Going into week 3. Our offensive line is depleted, right? You have on your left side, right, you have Jonah, who is a rookie, and then you have Brewer over there in the center. Oh, Patrick Paul too, right? You can consider him a rookie, I guess. He did play a little bit last year when Armstead was out, but this is his first real go at it as a starter. So I guess he's kind of in that like J.J. McCarthy, like he's not a rookie, but he is a rookie. And then the right side of the offensive line is completely depleted. So I could see their game plan of being quick passes. We need to get this ball out because you have Russo and Bosa over there. And to my surprise, the offensive line did well, right? Yeah, Tua had to run a few times, but he had a lot of time in the pocket. And I actually have to take my hat off and tell these guys on the offensive line that I had no hope in, right? Jonah being the worst rated guard in the league, and then we have Larry Borum over there, and then we have Brunskill come in, and I thought Tua was gonna be out by the second quarter, but they did a really, really, really good job. And the Bills have the 31st ranked rush defense, and that's why everyone was saying run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And I think that we did a good job on offense. We're going to get into that now. So, like I said, I think Tua played good. I don't think he played great. I don't think he played amazing. I don't think he played bad. I think he played pretty good. And I think they stuck to that game plan, right? Going up against that first pass rush, or not pass rush, the pass defense in the NFL, he played smart, right? He didn't force things. And I want you guys to remember that. He didn't force the ball into places where it shouldn't go. And he didn't force feed the ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It's not good that we didn't pick up great yards to a lot of people, right? Where it's not a 30-yard pass. It's not a 40-yard pass. It's not a 15-yard pass that Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill takes at 60 yards. It was very quick. But why is that good? And why is him not forcing it good? Is because we've seen a lot, right? Tua forcing the ball into places it shouldn't go, right? A lot of people say, just throw the ball away, right? Live to play another down. He doesn't necessarily do that. Fourth quarter against the Patriots, where he throws the interception, he did have Julian Hill right there. He tried to force the ball in there, and it didn't work out. Now, in this game, he wasn't forcing the ball whatsoever. He was playing smart. He was sharing the love. He was, okay, it's not open. I'm going to use my feet, and I'm going to go pick up that first down, and I'm going to slide. All of it was great. You have a 16-play drive to end the half. I mean, in my opinion, I think that was the best clock management by Mike McDaniel I have seen in his career in Miami, right? 16 plays, you score with 6 seconds left on the clock. I mean, it was perfect. Everything was firing, and that looks like the offense that we expected to see, and that looks like the coach that we need. We need a coach who is going to say, we need a 5-minute drive, we need to burn this clock, and we need the Bills to waste their timeouts, and we still need to go score a touchdown, and we did. We've talked about Tua not forcing the ball. He was playing well. He was playing smart, right? He wasn't bombing it to Tyreek and Waddle, even though he did bomb one to Tyreek. It was underthrown, but you got to catch that ball, hit your hands, right? Whatever. So now we're going to move into the second to last drive that the Miami Dolphins had. Of course, you can say the last drive was just a waste, but the second to last drive, we get the ball moving down the field. It is 28-21. Moving down the field, running the ball, passing the ball. We get to the 21-yard line, if I'm not mistaken, and it's 1st and 10. And we decide to pass the ball. And here is where I'm going back into Tua did not force it. Tua forced it here, right? Given Jalen Waddle was the intended receiver on the play, he had the hot hand. I mean, Tua was going to him on 3rd down. He was the hot hand on that drive and the drive beforehand. I see a lot of people saying, Tua looked down Jalen Waddle the whole time, but he was actually trying to look off that defender, didn't see the safety, making a play on the ball, ended up throwing the interception. It was inexcusable. These are where people question Tua. Can you make the plays when we need you to make the plays? And he forced the ball to Jalen Waddle. He knew where that ball was going right away. I don't know if it was a set play to Jalen Waddle or whatever, but if it's not there, don't throw it. And unfortunately for Tua, everything good that he did before that goes out the window, right? Everyone's going to remember, hey, you threw a pick when we had a chance to tie this game up. Would we have won the game? Who knows, right? When you have Josh Allen on the other side of the field, he can easily march down. And I'm going to talk about our defense here in a second. He can easily march down, at least kick a field goal, or score a touchdown based on how our defense was. But that's the problem with this offense and with this team as a whole. When we're doing good, we shoot ourselves in the foot. So my whole thing with Tua was you did good until we needed you to really, really, really step up and make the play. Now we're going to go into a little bit more on Tua and, just my honest thoughts. I don't think, right, might be crazy to a lot of people. I don't think Tua necessarily has a turnover problem, right? He is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league, right? Argue with a wall. The statistics prove it, right? Players say it, coaches say it. I think the problem with his turnovers is when and why they happen. When they happen is a big, big, big thing. In this game, you're driving down the field, you need to go tie the game against a division rival team that I personally dislike the most, and you throw an interception. Why? Is because it's a dumb mistake and you're trying to force the ball into somewhere it shouldn't go. And that's his problem. Don't force it, don't force it, don't force it. Before we get into the inconsistencies, let's go over the defense. Defense got a few stops, right, in the second half there. But again, our defense is like Swiss cheese. It's porous. There is no fight from this defense. And I'm really going to tee off on this defense, right? Say what you want about Tua, say what you want about the offense, right? Up until that interception, I really didn't have that many complaints. I didn't have that many complaints with Mike McDaniel. I didn't have that many complaints with Tua, other than a few throws being high with the offensive line. But now we're going to get into the defense. Our porous defense, just terrible. So like I said, we got some stops on defense there in the second half. But for the most part, there is no fight from this defense. This defensive line, this front seven, that everyone said, this is where it's going to, this is it. Our front seven is the strongest it's ever been, right? at least in the past few years. And who cares about our secondary? I guess this is how Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier felt. Our front seven's going to get home and they're going to get pressure on the quarterback. Like I said, Dotson and Chubb got 2 sacks, or a sack apiece. But other than that, James Cook, great running back, but he's running right through our defensive line, and it comes down to your secondary or your linebackers to have to make a play so he doesn't break out. Now into our secondary, Minkah Fitzpatrick, is he on this team? I mean, I haven't seen him do anything, right? And you would think, okay, well, he's not doing anything, but at least with, you see number 29 back there, just his presence is felt. It doesn't seem like that. The middle of the field is wide open on that last drive, and the Bills got the ball after the turnover. I forgot who it was. You guys are going to have to remember. Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore. He's wide open over the middle, and then he takes it 20 yards down the field, and that happened all the time. They're wide open over the middle, or just like a little screen pass we can't tackle. It's embarrassing. And the question that I have, and this is something that I thought about last night, and this is something I want to ask you guys, is it the personnel on defense, right? Because you look at the last names on defense, other than, maybe our corners, right? But you look at our linebackers, you look at our pass rush, and you see Minkah Fitzpatrick back there. Are these players just not good? Or is our defensive coordinator unable to have our guys prepared and fired up to go fight and go play the football game? Jaelan Phillips, invisible, right? I've always liked Jaelan Phillips, Hurricanes fan, think he's great. But he leads, at least our team, in what-if plays. Oh, he almost got him, right? He gets up in the backfield against Cook, wraps him, and Cook just throws him up. I mean, he is in his face, both arms around him, and Cook breaks the tackle. Now we're going to move on to Zach Sieler, right? This is a problem, right? And I might have a hot take on this, so feel free to say what you want in the comment section. But you get paid this money. Looks like Grier paid you over Christian Wilkins. He didn't want to pay Christian Wilkins all that money, so he's going to give you $20 million less than what we were going to give Christian Wilkins, and you are going to be that guy, right? And he was that guy. 2023, he was that guy. Him and Christian Wilkins, great. Think about last year, too. Him and Calais Campbell, great. So now you're going into this year, and you don't have another elite interior defensive lineman, and he disappears. I mean, the only time that you've seen him really make a play and get screen time where the camera zooms in on him is when it's the roughing the punter call, and that killed the momentum of the game. I mean, that play was it. You get Josh Allen off the field, and you're like, okay, we go down there and we have a 5-6 minute drive and we kick a field goal or score a touchdown. We win this game. But no. So my take and my thought on it is I don't think Zach Sieler is good enough to be your lone, quote, elite interior defensive lineman on this team, right? He's not shedding his double blocks. He's not getting any pressure in the backfield. He's getting pushed around. He needs, and we need, another elite interior defensive lineman to take the pressure off of him so he can be great. Now, we did get a few stops, which looked pretty good. And like I said, we held Josh Allen to under 30 rushing yards. As a whole on that defense and the offense, let's talk about the inconsistencies of this football team. So, to me, it looks like we play up to our opponents or our competition, and then we play down to our competition. You look at the Colts. I'm not saying the Colts are a bad football team. They actually look like a decent football team this year, but they are not in the same league as the Buffalo Bills. Same thing with the New England Patriots. Not in the same league with the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are the best team in football, whether you like it or not. They beat the Ravens, right, in a crazy game. And of course, they rout the Jets. But they are an incredible football team. And you go toe-to-toe with them through, 3.5 quarters up until the end? Why? If we played like how we played against Buffalo the first 2 weeks, we're sitting here at 2-1. Easily. You get a few stops on defense. The offense moves the ball down the field. The Colts defense and the Pats defense and the Colts offense and the Pats offense nowhere near the Buffalo Bills. So the inconsistencies of this football team, they're concerning, right? And now I'm looking back on 2024 in the past, 2-3 games this year. I'm not looking at 2023, right? 2023, we were playing bad teams. We were blowing them out of the water. Everything was looking very good. We're looking at the past 2 years, it looks like we play down to our competition and then play up to our competition. So now the final segment of the video is, should we be worried, right? Or what does this game tell us? So what this game tells me is that there is a chance. There is a chance. You go into Buffalo, you go toe-to-toe with the Buffalo Bills, but you shoot yourself in the foot. Roughing the punter, keep Josh Allen on the field, he scores a touchdown, you get the ball back on offense, and you go throw an interception. It's two bang-bang things that lost you that game. And that was what was so infuriating to me and so upsetting to me was, and I hate saying this, I really do, because a loss is a loss and the other team beat you, but the Miami Dolphins beat themselves this game. The Miami Dolphins beat themselves. We lost that game, right? And let me explain that. It wasn't Josh Allen, with a minute 30 left and 2 timeouts, and we're up by 4 points, and he leads a game-winning drive and scores a touchdown with no time remaining, and you're sitting there and you're like, damn, right? Josh Allen just cooked us. No, it wasn't. It was the Miami Dolphins' self-inflicted wounds that lost them this game. It's so upsetting that this team continues to do this, and the inconsistencies from this team where you're playing good, and then out of nowhere, you're playing bad. When you're playing these good teams, you're playing these top teams, you're playing the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and I know the Chiefs are 0-2, but they're still a top team. When you're playing these teams, you cannot have self-inflicted wounds, and that's the problem. So this team showed me some heart yesterday, right? Like I said in the beginning of the video, I thought we were going to go out there. I thought we were going to get destroyed, right? They played with heart. They played like they wanted to win. So do I think it's time to necessarily worry? I think we were worried after week 1 and 2, and I don't think we should be celebrating a loss against the Buffalo Bills. But I think this team showed us just enough to say, hold on, maybe there's something here. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I forgot to go over this, the worst possible outcome for the Miami Dolphins here. Did they show us heart? Yes. Could there be something there? Yes. But we played competitive, and if we want changes, or if we wanted changes now, Stephen Ross isn't going to fire Mike McDaniel. I do. Like I said, I think that was one of the better games he's called. I think that drive to end the first half, I think that was a great drive. I think that he controlled the clock well. I think he got the play calls in on time. He's not going to get fired. So you end up losing, but not bad enough for anyone to get fired. So now it looks like we're going to stick along with this team. Thank you guys so much for watching the first video. And like I said, in my next video is going to be going over to Tua Tagovailoa and see if he is that guy. But I'll see you guys in the next one.